This is Trinesha Catrell, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful to have you here on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we are going to talk about why you should focus on yourself. But before we get started, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up so you never miss out on more uplifting and empowering content. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. So why am I talking about focusing on yourself? Nothing happened. It's not like there's some big dramatic event or, I'm angry, so I'm like emotionally scarred, or there's something that happened in my life that led me to this moment of saying you should focus on yourself. In general, I really feel like sometimes we put so much energy into everything and everybody else that we forget about ourselves. And I will meet certain people in my life, and they will be so giving, so kind, so patient, so understanding, and really there for other people. Really just, with a gracious servant's heart. And when we say serving, sometimes people think that that's a negative connotation, but that is good. It's good to know that you're not just focused on yourself. It's good to not be selfish. It's good to help other people. And also it's good to have a balance. I think that sometimes in life we get so focused on trying to not be selfish, so focused on trying to make sure other people are okay that we forget that we're not okay. Sometimes we do so much for other people that we forget that we have to pour into ourselves first in order to help somebody else. And that can look like you could be the type of person who just loves helping people and you're exhausted. You feel like you don't get no sleep. You feel like you're always going. You just can't understand why you feel like you have no rest in your life. You feel like you're just overexhausting yourself. I want to be the first person to say that I love serving people, and there's nothing wrong with helping people or serving or any of those things. And it's also important to make sure that you focus on you. It's also important for you to pour into yourself, for you to do solo dates, for you to spend some time maybe walking in nature or around the neighborhood or to the beach, or now it's getting a little colder, maybe it's that time that you're just sitting inside with some fuzzy socks. I don't know if men wear fuzzy socks, but for women usually it looks something like a hot drink, where whether it's hot cocoa, coffee, or tea, and sitting in some fuzzy socks with a pair of shorts and like a big t-shirt or a big sweatshirt or something. I don't know, right? Or reading a book. Maybe your thing is reading a book, and that gives you time for your mind to unwind, for you to just relax in that moment. Maybe you sit in silence. I read this book one time and I cannot remember the name of it, but this man was a billionaire. I don't know if he was a multi-millionaire or if he was a billionaire, but he wrote this book. And in the book, he talked about how he allots himself 5 minutes every morning to do absolutely nothing. He gets up, he does his normal morning routine or whatever else, or even before then, right? But he brushes his teeth and he goes, and before he does anything else, what he does is he walks. He walks a lap around the house, he walks through the neighborhood, he walks in his living room, whatever it is. And he's not walking in any specific direction. He's not thinking about the things that he has to do that day. He's not thinking about dishes or kids or, what kind of money he needs for this thing or what bill is coming up, or maybe he has no bills because everything's paid off. Okay, there's always some sort of bill. There's always, if nothing else, taxes or something, right? And so he's not thinking about life. He's not thinking about all the things that he has to do or doesn't have to do, or the things that are on his mind that are troubling him. The only thing that he does is just focus on absolutely nothing. He focuses on his feet touching the ground. He focuses on every step that he takes, not in any specific direction, not that he has to take one step or two steps or three steps, but he's just in continual motion. He's not focused on the things that are around him that may need fixing or anything like that. He's just literally with a clear mind, just being present with where he is in that moment. Just walking, not speed walking, not just slow steps, walking for 5 straight minutes. thinking about absolutely nothing. And I know some people are saying, well, I'm an overthinker. I'm an overthinker too. And I thought this was going to be hard for me, but it really wasn't. I was able to allot myself 5 minutes and actually walk around and not think about anything. When my mind started to wander, I started to focus on what was beneath my feet. I started to focus on maybe my socks or, the carpet or the hardwood floors. I started to think of what was underneath of that. Things that don't take much thought process, but it does allow you to be able to analyze the situation in a healthy way without it being something that's burdening you. And so doing that every day allows you to just take some time to yourself without anything else, without any person, place, or thing, without anything that could be on your mind. It's all about just clearing your mind and giving yourself space and time to be able to pursue the day, however that day goes. And I thought that was so awesome for that to be one of the things that you can do. For me, that looks like my 2020 thing that I got from the 5 a.m. Club book. I do 60 minutes every morning that I allot myself to refocus my mind, to be able to just set the intention for the day. I spend 20 minutes after I get up, brush my teeth, do my morning facial. What I do is I spend 20 minutes doing vigorous exercise. It could be whatever exercise it is for that day. I usually alternate. It's legs or maybe arms, and then it might be abs, the next day. And so every other day, and then Fridays I usually do cycling. So I do a stationary bike. And then on Saturdays, I usually walk to the beach and do legs or something like that. And Sunday, I usually do yoga, which is more stretch because I don't believe in that. But we're not going to get into that subject. This is just me saying a quick spiel of the things that I do in the morning. So the next 20 minutes looks like me sitting and just spending time with God. I might be reading the Bible. I might be studying the Bible. I might be writing down things that stood out to me that I read through the Bible. And then vision. I'll sit there and visualize my dream life. I think about what I want my life to look like, what I want to do with my life, what direction God's directing me. The things that I need to get done are the things that I think about, but not like, oh, I got to do 6 things and I have to do it now. It's like, if I want to be in this car, what is that going to look like? What is my life going to look like? If I had a conversation with my best self, like skin flawless, nails on point, attitude pristine, the teeth is teething, they're white, the body's bodying, all of the things, right? What do I look like as that person? What kind of house am I living in? Am I living in like this 3-4 car garage house? Am I living in like a nice single family home? Am I living on a house with a bunch of land? Am I living in a mansion? Like, where do I see myself living? Like, what does the house look like? Is it all glass in the front, with the black? And then it's a nice, big, huge yard with a bunch of acreage, like maybe a dock for a boat or something. Is that what your dream house looks like? Maybe what does your car look like that you drive when you're in your dream car? Imagine any car that you want. The sky's the limit. Don't just put a limit on yourself. This is your vision. This is just a thought. Don't think, oh no, I can't have that house because, oh no, I can't have that car because, I can't have this man because, I can't have this woman because. Listen, all of that, stop all of that right now. This is your moment. This is the moment that you get to just think of anything that you want. Everything that you could possibly imagine, you think in this 20 minutes. And usually it's not enough time because I'll be at like 15 minutes or 20 minutes the whole time will be with God. Or if it's 15 minutes, the other 5 minutes will be me visualizing what my dream life looks like. And I'm so appreciative of the life that I have right now. And also, just because I'm appreciative does not mean that I could not want more or not envision another level to the life that I'm already blessed with. I think that's where we kind of go wrong in religion. We kind of put a cap on God. Like, that's all he can do. Like, well, my finances are good. Thank you, God. And God's like, you think your finances are good now? You know what I could do? I could do exceedingly and abundantly above anything that you could ever ask or imagine ask or think. And you gonna settle with this? Like sometimes we really put these limits on God as if he's a human being when we don't realize that he could do everything, anything, as long as it's benefiting you in the kingdom. He's not gonna give you something that's gonna destroy you. So don't even think like that. But and it's also good for you to envision the life of your dreams, because until you see it, it's not gonna be possible. You're going to always make excuses for the reasons why you can't have those things in your life. And it's important for you to know that regardless, this is what it looks like. Regardless, this is what it could be. Regardless, this man that you want is going to be the type of man who God literally sent in your life. It's going to be a blessing, not a curse. This person is going to be so patient. They're going to be graced in the right areas to be able to be that person for you. And it's not going to look like all your preferences. He's not going to be 6 figures with a 6-pack with a I don't know what other women say. I just try to think of all the stuff I hear on the radio and stuff, but it's not going to be any of those things. Okay. So get it out your head. Stop thinking of your preference. Think about what it is that you actually need in your life. Like maybe you have been hurt in the past and you need somebody who's actually going to be patient with you, because it's going to take a person that's specifically graced for that to be able to handle that. Not just anybody can handle that. Maybe it's going to look like it's a person who you can be cool with and have a real conversation with without feeling judged. Maybe it's going to be the type of person who you don't care about any of the extra stuff, but all the extra stuff that they got is a bonus. It's like, this is the stuff that means the most to me, and what matters to you matters to that person. Might be what it looks like. Think about that. Think about having everything that you need and not everything that you want. Think about the house being the best house that you can imagine in your mind. The car being the best car like if it's a Porsche 911 coupe, it's going to be that Porsche 911 coupe with the blue interior with the white on the outside. White on blue. I'm just saying, right? It's going to look something like that. And you're going to be grateful and gracious and thankful for everything that you have in your vision and everything that you get in your life. The last 20 minutes is usually educational. This is where I educate myself. I learn something new about how to be more emotionally intelligent. I learn more about the ways of life, or As a Man Thinketh. That's the new book that I've been listening to almost every morning. It's a pretty good book. I can't remember who it's by, but if I remember, I'll put it in the description below. And then another one that I like to listen to a lot is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I listen to that or read it every single year. At the beginning of every year, I always end up going back to that book. And it's a really good one. And one of my favorites that I've read since I've been on this journey of self-growth and self-discovery is Atomic Habits by James Clear. That book is so, so good. And one of my other favorites, I know I'm just listing a whole bunch of books, but I usually don't like to say it because it's a curse word in it, but I'll not say that word, and then you'll kind of get the gist of what it is. It's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Bleep. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite books. It's grabs your attention in the beginning. It's emotional. It's heartwarming. It literally is like everything that you can think of in your mind that can stagnate you in your journey of becoming more emotionally intelligent and growing as a person. It's all of the things. It hits every single point, as a human being, things that you may be thinking, things that may be stunning your growth, things that you want to overcome to become a better person so that you can really live the life of your dreams. It's one of those books, which is why I like it so much. And yes, I'm going to be real. There are some curse words in there, but I kind of skim over it and then I just keep it moving, but that's just one of those things. That book is like that. If I had to do a top 5, maybe one day I'll do a video with my top 5 favorite books or whatever, but one of those books will be a leisure book. It won't just be something that's educational, but usually that's what it looks like. It looks like me Sorry, there was like some buzzing in here. I didn't know what that was coming from. I was like, okay. Like I'm brave, but I was still gonna run if I needed to. So yeah, I don't know what that sound was. But yeah, so that's what I do for the last 20 minutes. I educate myself. I learn something new. I listen to an audiobook. I might read something. I might do something that is outside my comfort zone. That's something that I'm learning in that moment. And every morning it sets my intention for me to believe in myself. So I know that I've poured into myself enough that I can pour into other people. That is what we have to do. I was listening to a sermon earlier today, and I know this is not like a structured thing, but I also want to make sure you get the meat of this whole conversation, of this whole video. So I was listening to a sermon earlier today, and the woman pastor was preaching on, and I like to say that. That's why I say woman pastor, because listen, it just does something to my soul. But anyways, so the woman pastor was preaching about remembering your purpose. And it made me think of how sometimes in life I can get so distracted by the other things that I want that I forget that I have a purpose. Sometimes we get so used to being a parent, we get so used to being in relationships, we get so used to all of these things that we forget that we are a person too. We forget that we had a purpose before we were a parent, or even while we are a parent, or before we were in a relationship, or while we're in a relationship, or whatever else. And it's important for you to remember the reason why you're here. When you know what your purpose is, you cannot stop going after your purpose. You cannot stop being in purpose just because your purpose is something that benefits the kingdom. It's something that will help a bunch of other people. I'm not living my life for me. I'm living it to help other people. And do I get to do stuff to pour into myself? Yes. And you should pour into yourself first. And also remember that you have a purpose. Never forget that you can enjoy the fruit of your labor. You can enjoy the things in life. But remember to have a balance. Remember your purpose. Don't forget that same energy that you have when you want to give that love to somebody else, you still got to give yourself that type of love. You still got to pour into yourself. You still got to say, okay, I when I first was in my single journey, I always was like, okay, what are the things that I would want the person that I'm with to do for me? Right? And so I'm like, okay, I would want them to do this. I would want to be able to do this. I would want to do this. I would want to, and I know I'm just saying I, as if I'm not going to be selfless when I'm with someone else. And I also want to make sure that I don't wait on someone else to do any of the things that I want to do in my life. Even if I'm with someone, I want to still make sure that I do the things that I love to do. If I love dancing silly, I'm going to dance silly in the living room, which I'm probably going to do in a little bit. I'm probably going to blast some music and just do my awful off rhythm movements and just do some bust a move. I'm probably going to watch a movie, and because I don't have anything planned for business stuff today. I usually try to take one day where I'm specifically not doing business. Okay, I'm on this video, but you know what I mean. I don't like strategically plan and block out different stuff for me to work on Thursdays. I do the quick video, which is usually about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I go on and I just enjoy the rest of the night. I don't plan anything else. I don't put it as it needs to be a business day, And so that's what I usually do. I try to put one day aside where I specifically don't do anything. And once I get more storage, I might even have a day where I don't do a video. I just post a video that's pre-recorded. But at this moment, I won't be able to do that because I don't have enough storage. So that's why every video has been live. I've been really just working it. So if I like flowers, even though I'm horrible at taking care of flowers, I'm going to buy myself some flowers. It's going to be my favorite flower probably. And I'm not going to wait on somebody else to do it. And it's not that I wouldn't appreciate it if another person did it. But I learned from my previous marriage, from previous relationships, that I can't just expect someone to be everything. God is everything. And anything that I need, I have to be able to give myself. And if another person does it, that's just a bonus. If another person gives me flowers, that's a bonus. It's not a necessity. It's a thoughtful thing but it's not a necessity. If I want to travel, I'm going to have to be able to travel. I can't just wait on someone else to travel. I got to do that if that's something that I like to do. And it's not about being mean or not, including another person. Of course, I would include the other person. I also have to make sure that I'm doing those things that I love to do and not expecting the other person just love it just because I love it. If I love going to dance classes, the other person might hate dancing, but I love dancing. I don't need to wait for another person to go dancing. I can go dancing by myself. I've done it my whole single season. So why not do it now? So things like that are things that you should do. You should pour into yourself by doing the things that you love. If you love reading, if you love dancing, if you love singing, if you love riding horses, learning new things, whatever your thing is, do that thing while you're single, while you're in a relationship, the whole time. Because the worst thing that you could do is be like I was and forget that you're a person while you're in a relationship. And then be mad because you didn't do all the things that you could have done by yourself. Like, that's one thing. If I could really give somebody one bit of advice, because I don't really know anything, but I do know that, it would be just make sure that you do the things that bring you happiness. Because a person is a bonus. They might be your man, they might be your woman, but they're not your property. They are a human being. Do not expect them to be everything. God is everything. You're a person just like them. They are going to make mistakes just like you make mistakes. They're going to do the wrong thing just like you do the wrong thing. So pour into yourself because it's necessary. It's not optional at all. And then you can pour into other people. So thank you for watching. Give me your thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.